When it comes to weight loss, no two people are the same. That's why Noom builds personalized plans based on your unique psychology and biology. Take Brittany. After years of unsustainable diets, Noom helped her lose 20 pounds and keep it off.
I was definitely in a yo-yo cycle for years of just losing weight, gaining weight, and it was exhausting.
And Stephanie. She's a former D1 athlete who knew she couldn't outtrain her diet, and she lost 38 pounds.
My relationship to food before Noom was never consistent.
And Evan, he can't stand salads, but he still lost 50 pounds with Noom.
I never really was a salad guy. That's just not who I am. Even through the pickiness, Noom taught me that building better habits builds a healthier lifestyle. I'm not doing this to get to a number. I'm doing this to feel better.
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com. Real Noom users compensated to provide their story. In 4 weeks, the typical Noom user can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. Individual results may vary.
On today's Smart 7, Starmer announces new Green Plan, the Archbishop of Canterbury resigns, and much more. It's Wednesday, 13th of November, it's World Kindness Day, and happy birthday, Whoopi Goldberg.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Sir Keir Starmer was in Azerbaijan for the opening of the COP29 climate summit. He took the opportunity to present the UK's new plan for cutting greenhouse gases by 81% compared to levels in 1990, which will be delivered in part by decarbonising the electricity sector. The UK is among the first to declare the details of their plan, which is due to be finalised by February next year to meet the 2030 climate goals. To deliver that level of carbon reduction, there will also need to be an increase in public transport use and an accelerated change away from gas boilers to heat pumps.
We set out the target, which is an important, ambitious target. What we're not going to do is start telling people how to live their lives. But we are going to be clear that that involves hitting the Clean Power 2030 mission that we've set out, one of the 5 big projects of government. That is vital.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has been increasingly vocal about the threat the planet faces from global warming, and he was warning that the window for action is rapidly closing.
The sound you hear is the ticking clock. We are in the final countdown to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And time is not on our side.
The details of the government's assisted dying bill have been revealed. The bill proposes that terminally ill patients in England and Wales who have less than 6 months to live have the option of seeking help to end their life. However, 2 independent doctors and a High Court judge must verify the details and ensure that the patient is making the decision voluntarily. It's being put forward as a private member's bill, and it's expected there will be a free vote. The bill was introduced by Kim Leadbeater, and she says Parliament has a duty to deal fairly with the issue.
Given the fact that we haven't debated this issue for 9 years, I feel very confident that once this bill is passed, this will where we stay. If we set it out clearly, this is where the law will be. The courts have sent this issue back to Parliament and said you must decide, and that's why we've got a duty to do so.
Labour MP Peter Prinsley is also a doctor, and he says that the bill will really only make a difference to a very small number of people.
This is not going to be something very, very widely applied. I think what we'll find is that there are people and people's families who are reassured by the fact that they will have this choice.
Donald Trump's legal team were back in court in New York on Tuesday, trying to get his 34 felony convictions thrown out now that he's the elected president of the United States. The judges delayed his decision until next week, but Trump has been busy appointing key members of his cabinet and preparing to address the Republican members of Congress on Wednesday, alongside a meeting with Joe Biden at the White House. Trump has identified Florida Senator Marco Rubio as his Secretary of State, Fox News host Pete Hegseth as his Secretary of Defense, and he also tapped Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy as heads of a new Department of Government Efficiency. Meanwhile, as the counting for congressional seats continues, Speaker Mike Johnson was sounding pretty pleased with the way results have unfolded for Republicans.
What President Trump was apt to say all the time is we had to make it too big to rig, and we did. I am grateful to tell you that I had confidence that because of the chaos that was related to the 2020 election, most of the states got busy and passed legislation to shore up their systems in states around the country.
The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, has announced that he will step down from his role in the wake of a damning report on child abuse in the Church of England. The independent report was heavily critical of Welby for failing to report an abuser of men and boys as far back as 2013. The Archbishop said it was very clear that he must take personal and institutional responsibility and that stepping aside was in the best interests of the Church. He's hoping that his resignation will demonstrate how seriously the Church is taking abuse allegations, and the Bishop of Stepney, the Right Reverend Dr. Joanne Grenfell, says she too feels sorrow and shame over what happened.
The problem of abuse in the Church is a whole Church problem, and therefore it has to be a whole Church response. It's about culture, it's about leadership, it's about theology. So yes, abuse matters, but the whole context is what needs to change.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, Gary Lineker's long goodbye, and Lucy Liu explains her regrets about doing her own stunts. Right after this.
When it comes to weight loss, no two people are the same. That's why Noom builds personalized plans based on your unique psychology and biology. Take Brittany. After years of unsustainable diets, Noom helped her lose 20 pounds and keep it off.
I was definitely in a yo-yo cycle for years of just losing weight, gaining weight, and it was exhausting.
And Stephanie. She's a former D1 athlete who knew she couldn't outtrain her diet, and she lost 38 pounds.
My relationship to food before Noom was never consistent.
And Evan, he can't stand salads, but he still lost 50 pounds with Noom.
I never really was a salad guy. That's just not who I am. Even through the pickiness, Noom taught me that building better habits builds a healthier lifestyle. I'm not doing this to get to a number. I'm doing this to feel better.
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com. Real Noom users compensated to provide their story. In 4 weeks, the typical Noom user can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. Individual results may vary.
Welcome back. Gary Lineker picked the perfect week to announce that he'd be stepping down from Match of the Day. With the Premier League on an international break, his decision to quit the Saturday night show has generated acres of headlines, and he issued a 21-word statement on Tuesday to confirm the news. He's not gone yet, he'll stay to the end of the season, and he'll also present the 2026 World Cup, while his The Rest is Football podcast will now be hosted on BBC Sounds. The search for his replacement is underway with Gabby Logan, Mark Chapman and Alex Scott all in the running. Fellow podcaster and football fan Alistair Campbell says that Lineker's absence on Match of the Day will be felt.
Whether he feels that this will allow him to maybe engage more in those broader debates and focus on the stuff that he's doing with his goal hanger company, I don't know. But I think it'll be a very, very, very hard act to follow.
This year, Hollywood is going big on Christmas. We're about to get a whole bunch of new movies, all hoping to become a future Yuletide classic. We've got Jack Black as the devil in Dear Santa, Lindsay Lohan is back on Netflix in Our Little Secret, and Ben Stiller is also hitting the Christmas spirit with comedy Nutcrackers. But the big daddy is Red One, with a star-packed cast including The Rock, Chris Evans, J.K. Simmons as Santa, and Lucy Liu as Santa's boss. She says she enjoyed doing the movie, but regretted agreeing to do all her own stunts.
Initially, they said that it was just going to be a kick, maybe a punch, maybe nothing. And then they showed me the previs, which was a whole stunt scene. So all of a sudden it was this completely dramatic moment where I looked at what they showed me and I looked at the fact that I hadn't trained, and then I was stunned, but I managed to pull it off.
It's a rivalry as old as time, or at least as old as 2001. It's Hugh Grant versus Colin Firth, and it all started because of the original Bridget Jones movie, where they played love rivals. Now, it seems Grant's dreams have come true in the latest instalment of Bridget Jones, which begins with the dramatic news that Colin Firth's character is dead. Renee Zellweger puts back on the granny pants for the fourth movie of the saga. This one is called Mad About the Boy, and it hits cinemas on Valentine's Day 2025.
Bridget, you're a widow with 2 wonderful children. My advice to you is put your own oxygen mask on first. You just have to get laid.
It's been 4 years now. You're effectively a nun. A very, very naughty nun.
I've set you up on Tinder.
What's Tinder?
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
And now, a next-level moment from AT&T Business. Say you've sent out a gigantic shipment of pillows, and they need to be there in time for International Sleep Day. You've got AT&T 5G, so you're fully confident. But the vendor isn't responding, and International Sleep Day is tomorrow. Luckily, AT&T 5G lets you deal with any issues with ease, so the pillows will get delivered and everyone can sleep soundly, especially you. AT&T 5G requires a compatible plan and device. 5G is not available everywhere. See att.com/5G for you for details.